Hello, so this is my first video on YouTube. I wanted to show you this tactic, which is possibly one of my favourite tactics. I do love Antonio Conte quite a bit, very good manager, and this tactic is my best attempt, to be honest with you, at setting up a tactic. It's very similar to his. Yeah, so I came in around there. And I've been winning ever since. Okay, so what is this tactic? Now you've seen the results and I've given you a bit of a intro. We will now be going through this tactic, starting off with out of possession. So out of possession will be get stuck in, extremely urgent, and use offside trap, mostly because we're still pressing higher, which you can see here, so therefore we still need to use the offside trap, and because we're pressing higher, obviously our pressing game needs to be, well, it doesn't obviously need to be, but for this tactic it needs to be aggressive, and we need to constantly be on the opponent. If you're not technical, then you have to be physical. Then you've got get stuck in, just because stay on feet doesn't really work in this game, it's a bit rubbish, and defend narrow. So transition is regroup, counter, slow pace down, distribute to fullbacks. Why am I passing out to fullbacks, not centre backs, like you normally do? Well, just because it's safer. Then you've got regroup, because this tactic is a bit of a copycat of Conte's tactics, but it's also, I mean, he likes using the centre backs to play out. I don't. I'm quite safe. So then you've got the in possession part, which is arguably the most important part to a point. The width is standard. One thing here is when you change it to positive when you're against a smaller team and you're on the front foot, it will just change the width for you, which you don't need to touch. But I'll switch it back to cautious. Then you've got play out defence, passing directness is standard. So it's not going too short and it's not going long all the time, just a mix of both, a bit like how Man City play. Tempo's lower, nice controls. Time wasting frequently, just for a bit of fun. Also play at the back. And then the final third bit is the bit I quite like. I've thought about this. But it's whipped crosses, doesn't really matter. Could be whipped or mixed or low crosses if you have a small team. Small fast team, which I wouldn't advise. I'd have physical players in this tactic definitely, and definitely players who are tall. So you've got our final third, shoot on sight and hit early crosses, nice and aggressive. Not too many people use that on Football Manager. Play for set pieces, which I'll show you the set pieces in a second as well. Then you've got creative freedom, be disciplined, which is just this tactic. It's I suppose rigid is the word. It's quite disciplined. So these are the player roles. The only player roles that I've edited really is the goalkeeper to say you need to pass it short and take fewer risks, and then I always have one centre back who's not as great on the ball as the others, just because I like him to be slightly more physical. Might switch it from the right to the left. It doesn't really matter. It's quite nice to have him. I quite like a player who's essentially Barzagli or I don't know, like a Aspilicueta even, or Cahill rather. I just quite like that. So yeah, we'll get on to the player roles as well. So centre back and goalkeeper isn't really too important, apart from the fact that you need sweeper keeper on rather than goalkeeper, just because you're playing a high line. So your keeper needs to sweep up. Centre backs, I've already explained. Deep line playmaker or defensive midfielder. I'd stick to defensive midfielder, even when you're on the front foot, and I'd also put a playmaker in front of the defence in that role. It just works on this on this game, on this version of FM. I don't know why, it just does. Whenever you put a player who's not as mobile, it doesn't seem to work. It's probably because you press, and it probably just makes sense if you think about it. Just because you press, more mobile, you're able to catch people out. Although Højbjerg isn't exactly Ronaldo, is he? Anyway, then you've got two wing backs. As I say, when you're on the front foot, you have more attacking wing backs. When you're on the back foot against bigger teams, just pick more defensive wing backs. Then you've got your two advanced midfielders being box to box and advanced playmaker. They just need to have decent, good stamina, above 15 definitely. Armstrong has 15 in fact, as you can see here. And then the forwards can be a big man and a small man. I quite like to have about the same size, and I like my forwards to be quite mobile, so there's no disadvantage up there. Yeah, so just a preference for me. Set pieces. So corners, attack wise, I'm set up like this. Quite a common corner set piece, I would say. And then yeah, same on the right. I've switched up a bit just to test it out. Defense is set up like this, and then same on the other side. I've just put the forward in like this position for the left and this position for the right, just to be more defensive. If you would like me to provide a link in the description to this tactic, just like and subscribe and comment so you can tell me, and yeah, tick the notification bell if you want to see any more videos from me.